Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Friends, Facts, and Fiction. As always, this podcast is made possible by our local convenience stores, the misappropriation of history, and you. And now to your hosts, Justin Hammonds, Brant Bramlett, and Drew Shellnut.
What's up? What's happening, world? It's a podcast called Friends, Facts, and Fiction. Episode 22, Season 5, Trying to Thrive and Stay Alive. It's also the last episode of this season. Mm-hmm. We had some scheduling and life things happen in the past few months to where our episodes have been kind of sporadic, but...
I don't know. I've put some thought into this. Do you think it was a self-fulfilling prophecy that we named this Trying to Thrive and Stay Alive? And then so much shit happened to us over the course of this last season in our personal lives.
Of course.
Or are we just a little bit future readers?
I mean,
what is the word for that?
I mean, foreseers, psychic.
No, come on. Yeah, well, it's like a type of psychic.
It is.
I don't know.
Precognition.
Precognition.
Do you think we
Precogs?
We're precogs.
Fucking
if the three of us
Minority Report.
Can you see? Do you think the three of us at this table somehow make that happen?
Yeah.
Because many times we've accidentally recorded an episode and the release date is perfect.
Who's Agatha?
Perfect for this day. Like the episode, like some of the shit that we talk about is like happening. Like outside of us trying to plan it,
it's crazy.
while it's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is kind of wild that is the motto for the season, and we had a lot of trials through the winter. A lot of things have happened. But we're here. We're still here, and we're still thugging. We ain't left. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hell no.
We're probably going to be bi-weekly is going to work for us better moving forth.
Yeah, we'll probably throw more tweeners out
every other
this
week.
next season, I'm thinking. Just something to where...
little updates between episodes type of vibe.
Yeah. And then, maybe we just record 1.5 times as long, and then we'll just parcel those out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we might be stacking
full research
pre-recording.
episode where you get some giggles and some informations, or, it'll just be like a quick little 20-minute jaunt.
And there's other ideas we've been trying to pan out too in this podcast universe. Shouts out to Tales from a Walk-In and East Nashville Yacht Club podcast.
Both
trying to combine with
fantastic
them.
podcasts to listen to.
Yeah,
and,
trying to combine with them eventually because it's Nashville based and they're Nashville based and they're all homies and there's plans. We're not giving up on this thing.
I like it too much, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I'm Justin Hammonds, by the way. And look at my boy Drew Shellnut. My boy Grant Bramlett.
Oh.
Yep, always the opposite. Damn it.
We started off hot today, you know what I'm saying, before the true introductions. But yeah, we're here. We're doing it. We're living it. We're breathing it. It's also Black History Month. It's Black History Month, man.
Yeah.
Do something cool. Go support Black business. Don't support Republicans talking about fucking Black history. Anyway.
That's fair. But on that note,
So no Chick-fil-A February? Is that what we're doing?
No Chick-fil-A February. That's exactly what that is. I did want to give a little bit of free advertising just for our local community here. There is something called the Nashville Black Market, and it's their 4th annual Black History Month Expo. It's going to be Saturday, February 11th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, February 12th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's going to be at the Nashville Fairgrounds, which is located at 625 Smith Avenue here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's free, and here's a little thing for it that I found on WXRN.com. Nashville Black Market kicks back off this February for Black History Month at the Nashville Fairgrounds. The biggest Black history event in Nashville. You don't want to miss it. Come celebrate Black businesses and entrepreneurs. And then the dates again. They're going to have food trucks, vendors, games, installations, live DJs, raffles, and it's all free. Parking is $5. And vendor booths are still available. So if you are a Black-owned business in town and you haven't had a chance to look into this yet, you can just go to the NashvilleBlackMarket.com. /product page /Black History Month event. So if you are a local vendor and want to, try and hop on there, please
Definitely
do
check
so.
them out. And they do events every month too.
They do.
Really dope organization. It's a beautiful thing.
I absolutely plan on going myself. So
Yeah, I think I'll probably do the same.
I'll quite possibly will go too. Because I think my girl's going to Memphis this weekend, randomly.
my wife's going to Atlanta this weekend. You want to hang out?
Isn't that some shit? Look at us, just
My wife's working.
Well, look at that.
just some friends planning plans.
Look at
that shit there.
Yeah.
Trying to strive.
Anyway,
strive and stay alive. You know?
Trying to thrive and stay alive. My
I
God.
said strive.
Oh man.
Trying to strive alive.
Trying to strive.
On the vibe.
Trying to fucking fuck. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm not drunk. You're drunk.
flashback to season 1.
Yeah, right.
Right there. But everybody doing good there? Everybody solid?
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to cover is our sound engineer came up with an awesome treatment based off of the steam-powered vibrators that we talked about on the last episode.
Oh, yeah, the steam power vibrator.
Yeah, so I'm just going to read this verbatim
joint.
from the text message.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty great.
Hopefully it stays in.
It's very funny. But I figured we could riff on that a little bit and then you can hop into your episode, Jay. So, from Jules. So, when y'all are talking about the steam-powered vibrator, all I can think about is Back to the Future Part 3. Here's my take. Camera fades into a late 1800s steampunky lab/exam room. A sweaty patient is in an exam chair with stirrups. A huge machine with wheels, whistles, and other steampunkery takes up most of the room, and a portion of it extends under a modesty sheet spread over the patient's knees. Mad scientist Doc Brown is furiously manning the boiler attached to the machine, trying to get the vibrator up to 88 miles per hour. He tosses log after log into the chamber. His face is covered in soot. Camera keeps cutting to the patient's face and portions of the machine. Suddenly, the camera cuts to Marty looking at the boiler gauge and screaming, Doc! Doc! The red log! The boiler's gonna blow! Camera cuts to Doc, who stops in his tracks and looks at the gauge next to him. He gives a signature, shocked face as he says, Great Scott! The boiler blows, comically throwing him through the wall. Camera cuts to the patient, who is obviously achieving bliss as the boiler is steaming over in the background. Train whistles sound as the camera crossfades to Marty and Doc sitting haphazardly, shoulder to shoulder, on the floor, lighting cigarettes. Marty says, That was heavy. Cut to black. And scene.
Yes, all of that. Yes, we need somebody to animate that. Without copyright infringement.
Right.
I mean, Rick and Morty got away with it. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah,
you
right.
know? So,
Wow. That is heavy.
Heavy.
Thank you for that. That's a great interpretation. Of,
I loved it. Yeah.
That's great. And you can always email us too about your crazy stories or ideas that you have at friends.fiction@gmail.com.
I will happily read them.
Yeah.
Especially if they're funny.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll even read them if I don't find it funny. Maybe somebody else will,
Yeah, you never know, man. You never know what pops your clutch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Could be a steam-powered vibrator.
Might be. I could pop a lot of clutches.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey!
That's that mac and cheese. But
Full throttle.
Actually, you know what? For the sake of it, let's start working on some sound effects now so we can work it into the animated things. Do your little whistle thing again.
Yeah, what are you doing there? I can't with this.
You're the best stepbrother ever.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Jesus bless it. Oh man, I'm glad we're getting some good vibes going because today's subject is pretty heavy. The old big pharma,
Heavy.
the
There's
old
that word
medical
again.
industrial complex. Hey, it all ties
Something
in.
wrong in the future with the Earth's gravitational pull?
It's heavy. That's what they say.
Man, that was my favorite movie growing up.
Yeah. I actually watched
Back to
it
the
last
Future?
week.
Nice.
Yeah. They had to buy me a new VHS because I literally wore out the old ribbon by playing it too much.
Bro, I always wanted those Nike Air Mags when they came out.
Duh.
Them shits are super fly, but hella expensive.
Especially those self-lacing ones from the second one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Still have not got those hoverboards. Whatever they call a hoverboard is not a fucking hoverboard, bro.
No.
Like, still hadn't have those. So kind of sad about that. But anyway, yeah, hope y'all doing well out there. You know what I'm saying? Hope you are gearing up for, I don't know, Valentine's Day, spring break. I don't know what's going on in your life. But yeah, we're almost through this seasonal winter bullshit. So, Big Pharma and the medical
He's just
industrial
jumping right in.
complex.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go for it. I was expecting a clever segue or maybe a bathtub.
The segue was, I'm glad we get all that out the way because this next thing is heavy. See, I tied the heavies. Drew caught that. You missed that whole.
I was here. I was just expecting better. I mean, I'm sorry.
That's not clever. Anyway, I'm not gonna take a critique right now. All right.
No on-air corrective criticism.
Yeah, email us if you got the corrections, Grant. So, Big Pharma and the medical industrial complex are two subjects totally related, but also very touchy to talk about, especially since, a worldwide pandemic. Everybody and their auntie have their own wild theories about whose fault it is, who's running prices up, and who's trying to put a chip in us, or not. But honestly, it's no one person's fault or one nation's fault. Even though the U.S. has its problems with how our major private companies can spike up prices and conceal test results, a few other countries have the same problem. They just don't allow private companies to control it. Their governments have almost full control over like the prices and all that.
Right.
But we will get deeper into that later. The reason why we wanted to cover this topic is to truthfully make you aware of how dire the situation is and how so much misinformation can distract us from the truth. Between a few major corporations and one leader of a hedge fund, medicine and medical treatment has skyrocketed over the past decades, with some prices seeing a 5,000% increase. While the prices go up, the certainty of the success rate is getting lower.
Yeah.
That is a hit on the ambulium. Anyway, there's a treatment for Alzheimer's that FDA approved that does not really show that it's going to work.
Yeah,
So they
we
approved
tossed
it.
that out a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I ended mine.
Yeah.
I was talking about that. It's theoretically groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But if it remains as insanely as expensive as it is, we're not going to have enough clinical trials for it.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to be that accessible to a majority of the public for a very long time.
Just look at insulin.
Well, I was actually
And
going
we're
to
not
bring
gonna
that
know if
up.
it works.
I was planning on bringing that up in the sense that, I don't know if anybody watched the State of the Union that happened
I
recently.
did. What Biden said was dope, though. On that.
He did a good job. I was surprised at how agile he was at 80, but I was impressed, honestly. I really was. But the big one there was $13. Like to production, packaging, and shipping. This is roughly how much it costs them, right? They're charging $400 to $500 per treatment, and
Wow.
Medicaid has to cover that cost for our senior citizens in this country, which is just destroying our fucking budget as far as Medicaid is concerned.
Oh, yeah.
And if we just pop it over to fucking $35 a treatment, the pharmaceutical company still makes a very good profit.
Yeah.
And we can all afford to continue to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a little more complex than that. And this was because...
No, it's not.
And with that success rate getting lower and like test results not having enough time, is generally speaking, no one can afford it.
Right.
So the few people that have been cured may have to undergo treatments again if the symptoms reappear, which is all fine and dandy in my eyes, because if your life is on the line, a treatment now to keep me alive and one down the road for longevity is great. I mean, that's why we invented synthetic drugs to begin with.
Also, credit cards. I mean, yeah, when it comes to life or death, throw money at it.
Yeah.
But within reason.
Yeah, exactly. But let's say, for instance, you have hemophilia B. There's a treatment for that called Behring's hemophilia B gene therapy. And it can save your life and, save you from getting regular treatments. But it also costs $3.5 million a dose.
My God.
Jesus Christ.
Most expensive medicine in the world. So
How much does it cost to make? Do you know?
I do not know, but it doesn't cost $3.5 million to fucking make. No,
I'm positive it's a closely guarded secret. I mean, if somebody does know, please email us. But I doubt that they want us to know how much that shit costs for them to make it.
Exactly. I mean, that's why they safeguard all that shit and have all of their they lawyered up everywhere.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we're talking more about supply and demand. You know, like they have the only drug that exists. The demand for it is saving your life.
Yeah.
Well, if you've got $3.5 million, you're going to spend it.
Exactly. And even if you don't, you're going to find a way to somehow do it. So, with a success rate with this drug at 94%, that means 6% of the patients, at minimum, might have to pay $7 million to get, the proper benefit from the medicine.
Yeah, if you have to undergo a second treatment, sure.
And that's why Big Pharma sucks. Not because Bill Gates wants to put a fucking chip in us to track what shows we binge watch between work. So,
right,
to break this down into little sections, I'm going to talk about, a couple major corporations that pretty much decide what our lives are worth while gaining upwards of 55% pure profits in some cases in the process. But to circle back to why healthcare in America is so out of control, let's talk about private insurance for a quick sec. So, in most countries, the amount of public spending on healthcare is about the same, honestly. And that's including countries like Canada, Netherlands, the US, Germany, Sweden, even Japan, and many more. But we're talking about programs like, Medicaid, Medicare, and Veteran Affairs. Like, it might be different in different countries, but United States speaking. Now, some countries spend a little more here and there, but it's in and around the same ballpark. So why is the U.S. a fucking dumpster fire? Well,
capitalism.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we can start with private insurance. We spend almost double the amount in private insurance market than we do in the public market. So in turn, that gives the government no control over prices or regulations of the prices. So basically, if we spent more money in Medicare or public health, that takes power away from the private insurance companies to control everything that goes into medicine in this country.
Yeah.
So therefore, no matter what we go to the doctor for, it's going to be more expensive in the U.S. Even if you're on Medicaid, yes, it'll be a little cheaper, but still expensive than the same procedure done in another country. Same with private insurance, but sometimes it costs more with private insurance. Yeah. And if it costs more for somebody insured, then it's almost always not even affordable for the uninsured. So there's always the cry for Medicare for all, and it seems it will remain that way in the U.S. for a while. But the main problem is most other countries' government have a master list of pricings that cannot be controlled by insurance companies or medical corporations.
Yeah, and that really does track and make a lot of sense. It's something I was thinking about the other day, not to take us too far off a topic.
Yeah.
But I had a thought where I was realizing that a lot of these countries, they started for very different reasons, right? One of the most unique things about America is the fact that it started on an idea, right? There was no anything other than a group of...
The only country.
Yeah, exactly. A group of people that had this pretty wonderful idea of doing something fully democratically from the ground up, right? And that idea of laissez-faire mixed with how much money we made in agriculture solely based off of indentured servitude got us so wealthy so fast while still being such a massively young nation. All these other countries that have less resources, less ability to make as much money as we did and continue to make, but have been around longer and have realized we need to do this, X, Y, or Z to take care of its citizens in order for this country to continue to flourish.
To have a backbone and something to stand on.
Yeah, to Jesus, I'm so sorry. To continue to succeed. And I think that we're on this precipice right now, and that's why there's so much pushback. There's so much fight, and why people have intentionally put out these really easily coined and repeated terms and phrases in order to help get public interest against something that's actually going to make us better, stronger, and more viable in the near future.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's going to happen,
I mean,
but it's going to get real dark before
I
we
would
see
hope
the
so.
light of dawn. If
Yeah,
we want
right.
to continue with my
I would
stupid
hope so.
metaphor, you know.
But this price list that I mentioned, it typically works like this. Say you have a medicine or some new procedure that will help someone in need and the people need in this country, where the government controls the price of it with their master list. You would take the medication or procedure to them, and the government would set the price on what you can charge. Not the doctor, not the hospital, not the insurance company.
Okay.
Makes sense, right?
It makes so much sense.
Well, that's of course, then you hope that the government has your best interest at heart, but that's a deeper conversation for a deeper time. But to be honest, I'd rather fight one enemy than three. I'd rather be mad at the government than mad at the insurance, the hospital, the doctor, the physicians making a hustle out of it, So
I'm the same way, honestly.
yeah, but that's the main problem with healthcare in America. Any corporation or company can influence the price of medical needs at any time with no limit or regulation. Speaking of which, Martin Shkreli.
Yeah.
It's a prime example of the evil that exists under this system. And if you don't know who he is, I hope you enjoyed the joy you had before learning about him. This fuck was the manager of a hedge fund on Wall Street who acquired the rights to Daraprim, which is on the World Health Organization's list of most essential medicines. It helps fight malaria and a serious infection caused by HIV. Now, with the rights to this drug, asshole McGee here jacked the price up on this drug from $13.50 up to $750.
Fuck.
Almost as soon as he acquired it. And that's that 5,000% markup I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It
was like within the month.
Yeah.
He bought it, jacked it. Like,
Yeah.
it was insane.
It's the fucker that bought that one of one Wu-Tang album.
Yeah.
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 For like 1.2 million or some shit.
Yeah.
And in his words, his only problem was I didn't raise it high enough. Honestly, I could have. I'm in the business of making 100% profit, not half, not 75. So this is like true capitalism.
Yeah.
A true capitalist, you know what I mean? Like, and watching his hearing at Congress, like he was disengaged, smiling the whole time. He was just like, "Why am I here? Like, I did everything that my hedge fund wanted me to do. Like, I don't see what the fuck the problem is."
In his eyes, he's not wrong.
Exactly.
Now, as a human being,
Terrible.
ethically,
Yeah.
horribly
No.
fucked up.
Yeah.
But this is in a system that he exists in which if you
He can
find
do that shit.
if you find the access to the information and have the equity in order to be able to afford it, and then set any price that you want to, because there are no limitations at all, why would you not? If you're just looking at
The numbers.
the Excel spreadsheet of your bank account or your company's bank account.
What I don't understand is how there hasn't been a cap set on medical anything. If there is a cap set on every other, like you have to have expiration dates on shit that isn't going to expire, like pickles and stuff,
Right.
Like the FDA had to go through all that shit. So why aren't we doing this with this as well? Because there's too much money behind it.
Money.
And also all these other countries
1,000%, yeah.
all these other countries are capping shit off.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, it makes
It's a
your
mind
head
fuck.
want to fucking just blow off
It's
the
a
top of
mind
your
fuck.
neck,
And
like
that's-
it's just like,
and
what
that's
the
strictly
fuck?
because-
And coming from someone who doesn't have health insurance and who has,
In this room, you need health insurance the most.
I need health insurance. I have something diseased in my body that I don't know what the fuck's going on, and I can't do anything about it. I'm just
Right.
playing a waiting game of like guess and check. This is the worst math method ever. Guess and check, and that's my life right now. So
Right.
it's just, it's so stupid. At some point, you have to. I don't know. I think that we're past change, which kind of sucks. In just as with this country at least, or we're just not quite there yet on the whole issue of giving a shit about people.
Yeah, and
And
that was
you know-
kind of my point earlier, is that it's gonna get really dark and really rough, and I personally think, I could be massively wrong, but I feel like I'm seeing it right now to where we're at the beginning of a large portion of the population, the majority of the population, saying, this is fucked up. This needs to change. I can't afford to have my own health care, let alone my own kids' health care. And I will die for my kids. I will murder you, stranger, for my children, which is a very universal human experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
To actual change being implemented.
Yeah.
And it's going to get to the point in which we either see a massive degradation in the quality of life in our country, to where we realize the nation itself, the people in places of power finally realize, oh, it actually is better for our country for us to make sure everyone can afford to be healthy.
So
You know what I mean?
essentially, it goes across all, not just medical, anything, not just, America is really, really, really good at, and I will quote a Tool song lyric, push the envelope, watch it bend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how we get shit done. We push it so far because we know that if we keep pushing it far enough, someone's eventually going to say something, but we can just push it until someone says something.
Yeah.
And then once we finally get there is when change actually happens. And then you have these...
It's either gonna fold in half or eventually break.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So, eventually it's always going to break because the way, if I've learned anything from history that I know, especially coming from, doing this podcast and stuff, like shit you didn't learn in fucking school, history of this country that I know is that they're always going to push the envelope until it bends or breaks. Before, it's always, like you said, things are going to get dark. Things are always darkest before they get,
For the dawn, baby.
and that's, and that doesn't have to happen, but this country is notorious for that.
Yeah.
Just going, hell yeah. That's what we're built off.
Duh.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I got some of that in here later on.
I'm sure you
trust me.
do. No, I'm sorry. Go back.
No, you're good. But that type
Obviously,
of,
we all feel passionate about this.
yeah,
so.
exactly. That type of shit is like, that's the type of heartless shit that eventually is going to kill us all. Honestly, just that greed and that
I'm with
like
you.
pure capitalism, capitalist mindset when it comes to medicine
yeah.
and like the well-being of humans. But everything he did is and was completely legal, and the price is still the same to this day.
Right. Yeah. And that's, what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And this motherfucker didn't even make the drug. He just acquired the rights to the drug.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Through a hedge fund that he managed, didn't even run and didn't even own.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was just a cog in a machine that, fucking did his fucking due diligence. But anyway, another example from across the pond is Novartis, a Swiss company that has been busy buying up smaller companies to have the rights to their medicines and is currently grossing $50 billion a year, all while holding some patents for some rare cancer treatments.
Great.
Now,
Yeah, of course.
with Novartis, another major Swiss company, Roche,
Just Roche. Yeah.
has acquired over 25 other competing therapies and medications as well. These two companies worked together a few years ago, not to help save lives, but to maximize profits. And this is another prime example of the problem we face worldwide when it comes to medical corporations. Now, the drug companies, Novartis and Roche, devised a plan for a drug originally called Avastin, and it's a cure for AMD, age-related macular degeneration. Mm-hmm. And it's the leading cause for permanent blindness in adults over the age of 65.
Yeah.
Now, Avastin was originally used for colon cancer, but then it was found to have great properties to help AMD,
cool.
which is kind of wild going from the ass to the eye.
Yeah, right.
Because
That's where they're attracted to.
just
So,
like,
I mean,
and talk about conjunctivitis. But
Doc, I mean, there's, shit. Yeah, good point. I mean,
old stank, yeah.
that stuff happens all the time.
it is crazy. I mean, fucking Viagra was for the heart, now it's for the dick. It is what it is. But
I mean, why do we think we have all these old tropes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They somehow related sometimes.
Anyway, the medicine is injected into each eye to help patients' vision remain stable and, in most cases, improve their vision. It was developed by Genentech here in the U.S., which is bought out by Roche. So Roche brought out Genentech.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And while they were doing this, all right? So the medicine itself was very affordable at $50 an injection, which is great for anyone who has or develops AMD. But seeing the possibility of profits they could gain on this type of medicine, the same company, Genentech, started creating Lucentis. Now, what's super wild about this is they find out this one fucking thing could save people's vision. Mm-hmm. So instantly, like you said earlier, instantly they got to come to us.
Yeah.
Like you can't. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
Literally nothing else that will help you but this. There's one fucking thing. It's not a generic version at this point at all. So start creating Lucentis. Lucentis does the exact same thing as Avastin, but Lucentis is new and revolutionary with a price tag of $2,000 an injection. So the cancer treatment, colon cancer treatment, like originally was $50 fucking dollars. Now the same treatment just renamed.
Yeah, that's all they did was rename it and throw some sexy verbs in front of it.
Yeah, Lucentis instead of Avastin.
Yeah.
So now Lucentis was marketed by Novartis. And this is where Novartis is helping Roche. So there's money for both companies coming in at that extreme markup price from the original medicine. Avantas. It's Avantas this whole time. I was saying Avastin. Jesus Christ. Anyway, that does the same exact thing. But Roche and Novartis had a plan to stop doctors from administering the cheaper Avantas. So they sent representatives to these different hospitals to persuade doctors not to use colon cancer medicine for eye treatment. See what they did there?
Yep.
See what they did there? So use this new and improved Lucentis. When the maneuver didn't work, the big pharma companies, because, these doctors are like, no, bro. Like, thank God for all the great physicians and doctors out there that are like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
right,
but
for sure.
So when this didn't work, the big pharma companies launched a legal action in France, basically to stop the use of the more affordable Avantas. And even though that didn't work, they still created more hurdles for doctors to gain access to the cheaper medicine. So now, most all patients with AMD will have to shell out 400 times more for Lucentis.
Jesus Christ, is so brutal. And it just goes to show exactly why this issue exists, not just in this country, but globally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yes, it does seem like the system is truly just hell-bent on gaining profits.
Well, I mean, you have these big businesses. So there's a difference. So you have all these doctors and everything who are like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck do you think you're doing? Like, what the fuck? Because they took a Hippocratic oath. Mm-hmm. And to use some fun with words, these motherfuckers took a hypocritic oath.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
I wonder if that's ever been used before.
They're trying to, sell people things that are doctors are there to provide for you and recommend you to improve the quality and everything of your life.
That's the whole history of the pharmacy.
It's also
of pharmaceuticals. Like the pharmacy used to, make their own medicines and sell that to the public. Then it turned into like a goods store where they made the shit in the back and sold goods in the front. And then they stopped making the drugs. So then the physicians started making the drugs. And then the physicians got too busy to make the drugs. So now you got companies making the drugs. Yeah. And that's the whole split of everything how it happened.
Right. And it's also a business within itself. I mean, if you look at every single hospital in this nation, every single department is its own company. A hospital is just a business complex, if you will. So the heart surgeons have their own company, right? They have their own boss to answer to, their own thing. The nurses have their own company, their own bosses. Mm-hmm. The anesthesiologists have their own thing. The nurse anesthetists have their own thing.
100%.
So all of these different people work for different companies
entities
all over the place, within inside of the same thing. Now, the operating room or the ER room is going to have let's call it a member of each of these departments standing around the table, so to say. But they all have their own, I don't necessarily want to call it agenda, because the people that are actually helping to improve people's lives and save lives and stuff, that's usually not on their mind. They don't care about that.
Right.
But they do have a money cruncher
Yeah.
that they have to answer to, or that they have to look to be able to approve some of these things as it happens. And that's why, you know, you have a massive heart attack, or you get run over by a tractor when you're 10 years old. That's me, baby. The bill at the end of that couple of days or a week or however long it takes is so massively huge and complicated. It takes its own financial lawyer to look that shit over. Is because of all the different places and people,
Entities.
that had to sign off on this, agree to the price of that,
100%.
and then you're left with that shit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Why is it that it's $15,000 to go make sure that some horrible spider bite that you had on your leg is not going to make you lose your leg, when a fucking medical student looks at it, goes, ooh, gross, it should be fine, and wraps it back up with the same
Why do I owe
dirty ass gauze?
TriStar fucking Summit
That was me. by the way.
$2,000 fucking
And that was
dollars?
Justin, by the way.
Why do I owe TriStar Summit $2,000? Because I needed fluids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I needed fluids. That's
Right.
all I needed.
You were dehydrated.
I needed fluids.
Right.
$2,000 fucking dollars? Eat a dick in hell.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
insane. But you know, they're just hell bent on gaining profits. Honestly, for the most part, I'm not calling everybody in the medical field.
No.
just whoremongering, money chasing people.
I'm actually saying kind of the
Like,
opposite.
yeah,
but I'm talking
right.
about
It's
when we
the
get in.
corporations.
Yes.
And when you
Yeah.
get past the point of the actual physical care of a person, we're talking about people that are making the decisions on the finances that go into the medications that they use. They have no say in that, by the way. Like they really have no say in how expensive this shit will be.
Yeah.
And that's something I want to definitely put out there. But even though funds are needed for research and testing of new drugs, greed has truly taken hold of many organizations. And here's the fucked up one. Purdue Pharma is an example of this. We are all familiar with the opioid crisis and the damaging effects it has on society. But this could have all been avoided if the truth was told about these drugs in the beginning. So for years, they talked about how OxyContin was not addictive and the pain medicine would last forever. The results would never fade. And the FDA had a responsibility to check and research all the qualities of this drug. But they supported this non-addictive ad campaign launched in the 90s without even investigating the test results of this medication. So just for a little backdrop on this, whenever this whole situation happened, 95 to 97, like maybe 600,000 people were prescribed OxyContin.
Yep.
Yeah.
By 2002, it was 6.2 million people because of this situation. And then now that's where we have the peak in 2012
Right.
of over 500,000 people dying from fucking opioid abuse. But
And then enter fentanyl.
yeah.
Well,
So-
yeah. And that's
I
a
mean,
whole
no,
other
seriously.
thing. No, yeah,
so
I
there
know.
was heroin and opiate.
Yeah, that's what OxyContin is.
And so you have all that, and then they were like, okay, so now we've got methadone. So we've got these methadone clinics. Well, fuck, these aren't working. We need something else. So now we've got fentanyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not fixing the problem. They're just finding out how to make more money off the problem.
They're pushing it. They're literally making a lateral move.
Well, the crazy thing is, and I'll probably get my mom to either call in or write in on this, because she was a nurse anesthetist for years and years and years, before she retired, 30 plus years in that industry, and has a lot of very accurate firsthand information on that. And when fentanyl was first manufactured and released, it was strictly for her and anesthesiologist, right? It was strictly for nurse anesthetist and anesthesiologist. Those are the only people that were allowed to touch this stuff because of how lethal it is.
potency.
It's very effective of putting someone down.
Yeah, of course it is.
But it's
6
also
feet under.
very, very hard to wake them back up.
Uh-huh.
And if you find something that potent and then it gets leaked out, it's very easy for someone to take a very large batch of shitty drugs, put just a teeny tiny bit in it, mix it all up, and then now you got some of the best heroin on the market.
Yep.
Or so they think.
Right.
Now, if you don't mix it up properly, if you don't cut it properly, like you just said, Drew, then 10 people are going to have a great time. That 11th person is going to die the second that they put an 8th, a 16th, a 32nd of that same dosage into their body.
I've had many friends die from it. I've had many famous people have died from it.
I mean, I've got a tattoo of one of our best fucking friends on my chest because of this exact situation. And, it's not only irresponsible, but it's just brutal. It really is,
And this is the beginning of that fucking problem. So with the passing of the Prescription Drug User Fee Act in 1992 by Congress, the industry that makes the drugs started being funded from the agency that,
reviews the same drugs.
Yeah. So the people that make the drugs funded the research of the drugs. So Purdue was in turn paying profits to the FDA.
No bias.
Around this time.
No bias. None.
So the policing of companies like Purdue Pharma lightened a shit ton.
Yeah.
You can say. Even when the effects of opioids started to become visible in the early 2000s, the FDA turned a blind eye again. And one can only think why. With a few people working for the FDA going to work for Purdue Pharma on a $400,000 yearly salary, I think it's starting to make a little fucking sense.
Yep. Yeah.
So there probably should be more guidelines and regulations on government officials gaining profit from private pharmaceutical companies. They should be keeping in line, but even politicians are being paid to stay in line with big pharma companies. That's when people are talking about lobbying and all these big pharma companies giving money to campaigns.
Yes.
So, it's basically saying like if you're getting paid by somebody a shit ton of money, why the fuck would you want them to get arrested or get in trouble? Because then your money line is gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and if we look like any major politician ever, maybe some scandal happens, or maybe, someone tries to go and hurt that politician. And if you look at the news footage and you think, how the fuck does that person that works like a civil servant have that big of a goddamn house right outside of Washington D.C.? That's fucking why.
Oh, yeah,
like they're all
some of these
culpable.
fucking estates these people have that we're supposed to be, I guess, paying with our taxes. Some of these estates that they
it's
have,
not with our taxes.
it's fucking insane. Bro.
It's not with our taxes at all.
Exactly. So this all goes back to private spending on healthcare and not public spending. See, that's the whole monster right there, is the private spending in between these lobbies and these private companies, and not put money into public healthcare. Then we're all fucked. So if there's more money generating in drug companies than our own government, how the hell are we supposed to get out of this hole? I mean, even in 2007, when Purdue Pharma pleaded guilty to not warning the public about the addictive properties of OxyContin, the family behind the company, the Sacklers, paid millions in fines and, of course, paid to lawyers, but didn't go to jail.
Nope.
And then they pulled $10 billion out of the company and declared bankruptcy to fault on their fucking felonies, basically. But the loophole was clear because they didn't lose any fucking money and they didn't go to jail. They just ran a hustle and won big. And this gives a lot of people pause to trust the FDA or any big pharma company.
Right.
And we've seen that clearly when the COVID vaccine came out. Even with massive evidence that the drug was safe and effective, many people didn't believe in it.
Yeah.
Now, some of these people were just looking for a fucking hill to die on.
Yeah.
And with that fucking cause, because they had nothing else to fucking fight for.
Yeah.
But some of these people had actual knowledge of the dealings at FDA and had reason to doubt it, honestly. But with that being said, the FDA has a lot of work to do in order to gain back a trustworthy reputation of an organization that will always do what's right for people, not profit. And if it starts with them, a federal fucking company, like entity, if it starts there, hopefully it changes elsewhere. But I feel like there's like not much we can fucking do to fix this massive problem we have all around the world. But until something happens to change the massive flow of money and power to these huge corporations, there's not much that's going to fucking change.
No, and I'll go ahead and I'll throw in.
Those are all my like examples and points on it. I could have dug deeper, but it's just been more depressing. But those are the high points, or low points of our healthcare, our big pharma, our medical industrial complex. Those are the root fucking problems of it all.
I did want to give one real quick little anecdote, about all this, just almost solely in reference to OxyContin and it's like actual addictive properties, right? I dabbled a little too much when I was younger into certain recreational activities that were potentially addictive, and some were, some weren't, but that was some of the propaganda that we were being fed just because, cannabis in general, CBD and THC treatments have been proven to be massively beneficial for people dealing with pain or depression or any. The list is long. They kept it illegal for a long time because it's too easy, it's too cheap, it's too readily available.
It's herbal, bro. They want to go synthetic. Synthetic is more money.
And that is a big thing about all this.
That's what it's all about.
All that being said, I got my wisdom teeth out.
Yeah.
OxyContin was still pretty prevalent as far as prescriptions are concerned. And so my fucking dentist gave me OxyContin to relieve the pain of ripping out the two back jawline teeth that were going to fuck up my smile.
Right.
And then the bottom right one. The bottom left apparently wasn't coming in, so they weren't worried about it. So I got 3 pulled out over Christmas holiday while I was still in college. I had a good idea. Of how detrimental this drug could potentially be. I've been to the ER enough. I've experienced a lot of goddamn traumatic pain over the course of my life by just being a dumbass. This one was something I went in to do intentionally.
Yeah.
And I will never forget, I'm on the way to my aunt's house. My mom's driving. I am fucking pissed at the world, at the existence of the world, the fact that the sun rose again, the fact that I'm sitting in this stupid ass, motherfucking ass, dumbass car riding to my dumbass aunt's house. Right. I was just cycling here, to the point where my mom could see it. She looks at me in the rearview mirror, is like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Fucking no." Yeah. Back then, I did not cuss in front of her, because I was still kind of under her care. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's paying for a lot of college and stuff. I'm still very massively respectful to her, but like at the time, it was like, let's keep a little bit of this, mother son kind of thing.
It's that early 20s, like out of your teens, 20s in the South. Yeah, it's that weird time of like, shit, damn, but like fuck or motherfucker,
exactly.
Bitch,
or goddamn,
goddamn. Like, in the South, that's a real no-go.
No, I'm not fucking okay. This sucks. I fucking hate it. And she's like, "Did you take any of your pills today?" She drove me to get my wisdom teeth out. Took me home.
She knows the effects. That's why
she's been living that life for a long time. That was her career, and she very quickly was like, "How much do you have left?" And I was like, "Well, just like 1.5 pills. I've been breaking them in half just so I can like keep it a little bit longer, just because my teeth still hurt, I think." She's like, "But do they?" And I was like, "Actually, no."
Yeah.
But I'm really goddamn pissed off that I didn't take another one of those pills. She was like, "Yeah. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
You're done with them. Yeah. Let that be it." And in that moment, I got it. I picked all of that up and I was like, oh shit, that is a real addiction.
Yeah.
I just experienced a real goddamn addiction. Yeah. No. And that's something I never, ever want to even put my toe in that water again.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
That's a real one.
It's sad and it's dangerous.
Yeah, bro. I mean, dog, you you see it from the heroin and morphine and,
Well, that's why I always
opium,
said,
you know what I mean? Like, it's
needles,
literally-
no heroin, no meth. I was
that's literally
always
all the fuck it is, bro. Like,
against
that's
all of
literally,
that.
it's based in that.
But-
That's why it's so fucked.
My fucking dental surgeon prescribed it to me. My name
Right.
was on the fucking bottle
Because they're
because
told,
my teeth hurt. Are
they're
you kidding
told
me?
it's fine. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
Just give him that.
Yeah.
But then.
And it was young enough in the era of oxys being prescribed. Well, it was a little late in it, but still, they were allowed to keep prescribing it, kind of willy nilly.
Yeah.
It's probably about the same time. My grandmother was prescribed to Oxy, Xanax, Klonopin, and Zoloft at the exact same time by the same fucking doctor.
Yeah, Zoloft and Xanny.
That person needs to be put behind bars.
100%.
Or just not allowed to do that again and then go build houses or something that's actually worthwhile, because that's bullshit.
Yeah.
No,
That's
that's
fucked.
100% what happened. And she laid in bed for 12 years because of that. Like literally, she lost her quality of life because of that, and is still now to this day trying to pull that back together. Because when I was being raised, it was fantastic. She had like a botanical gardens almost kind of a thing going on. She was a botanist. That's where I learned all my shit from, and it was amazing. It was fucking awesome.
Sure.
And then this one traumatic experience happens. Her back gets broken. She was working at Partlow in Tuscaloosa, and one of the patients picked her up and dropped her, and it broke her back.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was, federally addicted to drugs after that.
Yeah.
Because, and then she still is.
Legally addicted to drugs.
Legally addicted.
Yeah.
And it's just the government's way of just keeping you, making their
It's-
money,
it's
but you're
literally-
going to keep coming back.
It's literally a drug cart. That's what drug cartels do, bro. Like that's what these companies.
But we're
are
doing it legally here in the States.
Exactly. It's
Of
kind
course.
of. It's
Yeah.
kind
And
of
the reason why they're so pissed off about people crossing the border is because they're bringing shit over that they can't fucking control.
Yeah, they can make money off it.
It's like, border crisis.
But
so many people coming over
That's
here.
the whole thing about the fight for weed and all that marijuana. It's because, like you said, it's too easy, and they can't mark that shit up how they want to because everybody knows the value. Everybody knows they can just fucking grow it in their backyard.
Yep.
At this point, yes,
Like,
we do not know this. Yeah.
And all these other herbal cures and medicines that we can grow in our backyards is very cheap to do, but it's not promoted. It's not talked about. It's not, and there's also a gatekeeping on that where all these gurus think they have like all the best herbs and all this, but also as a quality of mental health that you have to have before you even get into medical treatment.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man, it's fucked up. It
And
should
you are
be-
right on that as far as like mind over matter is concerned. So there's a lot of like documented examples that is actually scientifically quantifiable of people's attitude being very effective for their process of improvement over
their
whatever
treatment,
traumatic thing that happens over them as they go through healing again, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
If they are positive about it, it actually does make a difference.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of proven, we can call sometimes herbal, sometimes, let's stick with herbal, fuck it. Treatments.
homeopathic.
Yeah, that are effective. But there's my other point of this double-edged sword of
Where
homeopathy.
They fraud sometimes.
Yes.
And the other
Yes,
side has
and
been
that's-
on some fraud shit.
That's the double-edged
Yeah,
sword here is
exactly.
you have to figure out what's effective on the homeopathy side, what's effective on the modern Western medical side of this, right?
Especially
Both-
about speed and efficiency and comfort of life, not
Yeah.
how much it should be, how much money we can make,
Right.
and how many people can we keep in a condition.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And like
Like-
that's something that unfortunately we as private individualistic consumers have to figure out, depending on what your case is, what your problem is, where your mindset is, the education level that you have.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these things play really massive factors in figuring out how far into, if let's keep with this metaphor, into the middle of the sword, the dull part of the sword that we can sit in effectively.
Yeah.
Because one edge sucks and is full of fucking idiots, and the other edge, it sucks and is full of fucking criminals that are trying their hardest to take as much money from you and everyone else as they can as fast as possible so they can cash out.
Exactly, bro.
Yep.
There's a like to just tap on that homeopathic bullshit side. I forget her name. It's Brittany something, I think. She's a guru cult leader right now.
Oh, fun.
And saying that like she has the yoga and the mental aura to like fix your problems and ail your shit. And see,
That's a goddamn snake handler, man.
That's the
Snake
other
oil.
side. See, that's the other side of the modern medical world. You know what I mean? So, like, just having the knowledge of it and knowing what you're actually going through, rather than knowing what you need to fix it.
Yeah.
It should be first. Like, honestly, knowing what is wrong purely and fully, rather than just being like, "Oh, how can you fix it quick?" You know what I mean? That's where we're at. We're in a quick, fast-paced fucking world where people don't want to dig in and actually like, hey, this is the thing. This is what it is. This is how we can fix it. This is another option. Like there's never another option. You know what I mean? In most of these cases, it's like, well, we can do this treatment, this surgery right now. It's like, well, is there something else? Like,
there's always something else.
This is it though. So they make it seem like they're the only ones that can save you.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And in turn, that's them trying to, in some cases, just trying to actually save people, you know, which is beautiful. But in that same sense, when you have the fucking big pharma companies and all these corporations just raining down fees and these crazy prices on people, you're detrimentally ruining that person's life. Like you save that life, but you also ruin it at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's dark, man. It's gonna get darker, but
It's a very big catch-22 kind of a situation.
you know?
Where it comes, like you said, like save your life, great. Now I have no quality of life because of the finances that I have to pay out because I just saved my life. So was it more beneficial? Because it's always more beneficial to save a human's life.
Of course.
But therein lies mental instability. Mm-hmm. You know, like, well, fuck.
And they're not giving these people free psychiatric.
Ain't nobody getting free ain't nobody getting free shit.
You know,
like
nobody's getting mental therapy. You know, on the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So like, it's a world is so complex, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just them having the curtain pulled over the shit, honestly, and not truly breaking down how we got here and why we're still sitting in this shit, you know. But I don't know, man. It was really tough to dig into this subject and try to like just hit the big points of it, because there's so much other shit that I learned about the world health shit, bro. It's fucked up out here, man. It is,
you know.
It's fucked up out here, bro. Like,
a friend earlier mentioned one of our little past series, the Blackout episodes that we did. You know, I learned so much while researching all that, and am better for it. I'm glad I did it, but at the time, fuck,
bro. Yeah,
it
that's
still
the most
crushes me.
That's the most drinking I've done.
Same.
Involved with this podcast, probably was the Blackout episodes.
Yeah, I think we were all
there.
I was dealing
dark.
with like a pretty active alcohol issue during that time, and then the world happened, and then it presented itself to us, and I said, "No, this is important. Fuck it, we're gonna do this." And then I dug deeper and deeper, and then I drank more and more, and it was bad. It was brutal, seriously, but I think it's important to come out of the other side in an effective way, and totally understand and get you, Justin, saying that, you know, you didn't want to give too much too fast or dig too deep, other than just to have this.
It's like, these are the examples of why it's fucked.
Yeah, right.
Now, I'm not going to show you the causes of this, because we can obviously...
This would take a couple episodes.
We can go a whole other hour right now.
There's so
table.
many stories, bro, of people that have depended on things and then got the treatments that they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for and died the next month. You know what I mean? Like, so many stories like that, bro, that I'm goosebumps right now just thinking about it. So it's
and I think
it's
that's
fucked out here, bro.
It's hopefully, everyone listening got a sense of understanding. And if anybody wants to go out and learn a little more about it, there's several really, really awesome documentaries about all this, which again is part of this podcast streaming services documentary age that we live in that I think is honestly kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of problems, but I think that we now finally
Beautiful and dangerous.
are starting to get the tools in order to figure out our own path or figure out who to trust or potentially distrust. Or actually, let's reverse that right now. Figure out who to distrust and potentially trust.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not all on us in this room right here, right now. Hopefully, if anybody is realizing a certain passion for that, please go out and do it. Make this a little bit better for us. Maybe make some small steps that go a long way, and that snowball that rolls down the hill ends up becoming a cheaper medication for your family member, or helps put signatures on a page for a bill that will be passed in order to make those prescriptions a little more affordable for everyone. Because we know, as big as those companies are, when you put something into that massive of a facility, it gets cheap pretty fast. Something that's hard to synthesize, hard to create multiples of, and then package. If it's big enough, which big pharma already is, it gets
Mass
pretty
production is cheaper.
Exactly.
Anheuser-Busch, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like let's make diabetes medication as cheap as a goddamn 12-pack.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Because they can make it that fast once they know it. And anyway, it's all kind of things that could change it, but it really starts with the government taking fucking power into their hands and be like, no, fuck that. You can't do that anymore. Because they're not only fucking up like physicians and patients, the pharmacists too.
Yeah.
have to make a decision on what to charge.
Yes. Yes.
From what they're told, what they can charge. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so
They're going to
their
take
morals
advantage
are
of
getting
that.
questioned. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, but they're going to take advantage of that. Of
Exactly.
course they are.
Exactly.
And this is not
it's crazy.
17th century France. Like we are well past laissez-faire
Right.
capitalism.
Yeah.
We've been past that
Yeah.
for hundreds of years, in fact.
Yeah.
And we can't let something that's so crucial, like one of the what is it they say? The legs of the stool that we sit on be something that's still unchecked. That's not okay.
Yeah.
That's,
No,
that's
not at all.
it's outside
guy.
of every single person's control other than them.
Yeah.
And once
So
you
let's
let
put it back in control of someone that actually gives a fuck about the overall health and well-being of a nation and a world.
Yeah.
and if at the end of the day, we're in the belly of the beast.
Yeah. And if
Organic
you're,
Androids 2017.
and honestly,
Belly of the Beast, song of the day, Organic Androids, Belly of the Beast.
Actually,
Yeah,
we're
go
allowed
check
to
it
play
out.
that. Jules, hit that on the outro for us, if you will.
yeah. No, for real.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
But also, like you have to. So there's all the negative that comes in with you have all these people raising all these prices, as they should not, with the debilitation of the country, which it's just hard for me to get past the capitalism part of everything, because I think capitalism should be capped.
Sure.
As far as that's concerned, because
I agree with that too.
when it comes to well-being, there isn't a cap. It's well-being of human society. It's us taking care of us instead of. But that's that. Like I said, catch-22 hard thing to get across.
Yeah, because anytime money gets involved, bro, instant.
There is
instant
a cure for
capitalism.
cancer already. I can guarantee you,
Bro,
100%. I know there is a fucking cure for cancer.
there are patents
They came out
and-
with that shit fucking 50, 60 years ago.
Well, the way that they created the COVID vaccine, they've been working on 10 years prior. and they just actually tweaked it
Yeah.
to work on the COVID vaccine. But the way they do it is a certain, I think it's called MRDA, and it's the way that the medicine reacts to sick cells. It regenerates.
Yeah.
So that type of fucking discovery has already happened. They just have to apply it to different things. They're going to have a cure for most everything.
Oh no! But there's cures for all this shit, but there's too much money tied in.
There's too much money. There's too many
Like-
tied up. There's a lot of patents that are bought and kept because they don't know how much to charge.
How many
All this
people
shit.
are employed by cancer?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you
bro.
take cancer,
you keep a motherfucker in a condition
away,
to make more money. That's
you're
where capitalism
talking
gets
about
shitty.
not trillions,
No.
quadrupillions.
Bro,
I
they-
just made that shit up. I don't care.
They've
Like,
already
for
made a
real,
lot
though.
of money off of it.
But
bro. Yeah. They've
you
already
don't
made
lose a lot
money.
of jobs.
Yeah.
But still,
Exactly.
but you can't play that.
See, and then you boil down into economy and like all. See, it's a. So I'm saying, people, it's a way bigger picture. We're gonna get off a soapbox because I feel like we're getting passionate about it, and it is something to get passionate about, no lie. But that's
And especially if you know this fucking country, you have to be passionate about shit, or nobody's gonna fucking listen to you.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of this episode. Like I said, was to make sure you knew how dire it was and how much misinformation can distract you from the truth.
Yep.
And the truth is, money rules everything.
Yeah. No,
And
that's
it's
the truth.
fucking up the well-being of everyone on this planet. Even though it makes life great, it can fuck up life up even quicker. But I'm Justin Hammonds, man. I'm saying love, live life because it's worth living, y'all.
And I'm Drew Shellnut, and I am more than ever standing behind the stay informed. Like, the ignorance of this country is the reason for the demise of this country that we live in. And it's mostly just the people who just tune into Fox News, CNN, CBS, MSNBC, whatever your drug of choice is.
You gotta do your own research.
You
gotta
have to
dig in.
fucking do diligence.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just turning on the news and going, oh, it says so-and-so, you're just a fucking another cog in the machine of ignorance. And this isn't helping our society. You stay informed and make a motherfucking difference.
Boom.
Yeah. And Grant Bramlett here. And on that note, Drew, it is another double-edged sword. Let's keep playing with this metaphor.
Yeah.
It's hard to live your life, work your life, deal with your bosses, your spouses, your children, your pets, your bills, and then sit down and actually do like some valid research, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, one of the best and worst things that we have in this country is the fact that we are technically legally allowed to say whatever we want whenever we want.
Yep.
You know? And that's a good thing and that's a bad thing.
Yes,
as
it
we both
is.
know. But I think that we're getting into a pretty decent era of anyone that cares enough has a little bit of extra time to look into something a little deeper.
Well, and hopefully all
And
these
then-
rednecks are dying off
And
soon,
then put
too,
it out.
so-
And then some of those people that I am related to and I also dearly
Me too.
love will eventually pass away. And that's great.
Uh-huh.
But
But there's a lot more fact checkers. I get where you're going with this.
at the end of the day, I guess what I will say, anyone out there that took a very, very standardized, socially acceptable, non-ethical stance on making a fuck ton of money really fast because you're allowed to, because it's legal,
Yeah.
because, well, you had the capital to look into it initially, and you also had the access of information in order to find a really solid investment, and then never stopped at one point to say, would this hurt a family member of mine in the process? I never fucking liked you.
Yeah.
But if you're out there and you're trying to help people on a day-to-day basis, sleepless nights, crazy fucking hours, probably not enough pay, and sadly enough, very little respect nowadays.
Yeah.
People questioning every single fucking thing that you're doing while you're in the process of trying to help this person. I always loved you. And I hope that you hear that. And I hope that this comes across in a way that's not overtly negative to people within the medical industry, because I think that y'all are doing important work. But again, it's those fucking money crunchers that are just destroying everything about us trying to be a happy, healthy, effective society. And with that, I'll stop talking.
Yeah. You know, what's the thing with airline food, bro? You're thinking about that? It's fucking crazy. Anyway, we love y'all. We thank y'all for listening. This is the final episode of season 5, trying to thrive and stay alive. Season 6, more shit in the mix. I don't know. It's still in the works. It's still in the works.
That's fun though. I like that.
But
all I had was picking up sticks. So I mean, more shit in the mix is way better.
Yeah.
I don't want that to build on trying to thrive and stay alive though, because then there's just more shit.
Be a lot of
but there's
sticks
always more
picked
shit.
up.
Anyway, yeah, we're gonna keep grinding, keep doing this. You probably can expect some little installments of shorter episodes while we tweak season 6 and start recording that. We don't know what it's going to be about. Probably people, places, and things. But
Oh, no.
Wait, I thought we were going with like picking up sticks, so like how to make an effective fire.
oh, that's
a
a thing.
whole season on how to make a fire.
I mean, I'm good at it. So I figured.
Yeah. But in the meantime, in between time, you can catch up on all our episodes here at Friends, Facts, and Fiction. You can email us, Instagram, all that. Give us a follow. Give us a subscription on Spotify or Apple Music. Give us a 5-star review. That really helps.
Please.
Get our voices out there. Let us, entertain you. Edutainment.
Let us edutain you.
Yeah, as we learn with you guys,
Not copyrighted.
and all grow together in this nice little club we've built. But to everyone around the world, be safe, take care, be beautiful. This is a podcast called Friends, Facts, and Fiction, and we out.
Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for the next installment. Find us on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on all things Friends, Facts, and Fiction. Our Instagram handle is friends_facts_fiction. As always, please reach out to us. You can send any of your questions, praise, and fact-checking to friends_facts_fiction@gmail.com. It's important to us to only propagate the truth, and we'll correct any errors we may have made. Your hosts and researchers are Justin Hammonds, Grant Bramlett, and Drew Shellnut. Our episodes are produced by Grant Bramlett. Additional producership provided by Grace Higgs. Our recording engineer is Grant Bramlett. Lighting design is provided by Justin Hammonds. This has been a production of Friends, Facts, and Fiction.
I gotta pee.
Oh, and another one, just in case like you don't like any of those other ones, you can reach Justin personally at
256.
around, needing to care but never compassion bound. It's obvious, yeah, it's obvious that this life has more aspects than the naked eye can see. So living hand to mouth ain't no way to be. Paycheck to paycheck, steady stumbling. Yeah, we're steady stumbling. Why is this economic circle not for the people? We're ready to find out now, no need for a sequel. But we got to get out soon, so we just pedal faster, pedal faster. belly of the beast. Had a feast with society. Yeah, I'm stuck in the belly of the beast.